This is the Rolex Cellini Moonphase, and it is one of the very few actual dress watches out of the Rolex lineup and the predecessor of the brand new Rolex in 1908. In this video, I will be talking about its four most important features and answer the most frequently asked questions I receive about this watch, like how does it wear? Is the quality comparable to a Patek Philippe Calatrava or a A. Lange & Söhne 1815? Why is no one actually talking about this watch? And what is up with its availability and the pricing? All of these questions and everything else you need to know about it in case you're interested in this watch will be covered in this video, and at the very end I will also share my own personal likes and dislikes about this watch. So when you're done with this video, you will know exactly whether or not this one should be added to your collection next. But before we continue, I want to take the time and thank the sponsor of today's video, CHRONEXT. CHRONEXT is an international online pre-owned watch retailer with over 32 brands and 800 models, providing pickup locations and lounges all over the world for you, making it a perfect place not only for people who just started with watches, but also seasoned collectors and enthusiasts. Right now on CHRONEXT, you can use my promo code Jenni with an I, that's important, when purchasing from CHRONEXT to get an extra discount. And just so you know, there's no financial kickback for me, but you will get to save money on your next watch purchase. I have bought through CHRONEXT before. I got my Master 37 from them, and I can absolutely recommend CHRONEXT if you want fair prices and, more importantly, a peace of mind when buying watches online. So that is my code Jenni with an I on chronext.com for an extra discount with your next watch purchase. Right, let's start out with the hard facts as well as the measurements and the questions I get a lot when it comes to Rolex. How does it actually wear? The Rolex Cellini Moonphase is made from ever rose gold and comes on a deep chocolatey brown leather strap made from crocodile skin. At first you would think this is an ordinary, pin buckle clasp, but this one right here is actually a full-on folding clasp sporting the Rolex crown. And yeah, same with the strap at first glances. In some lights it might look black, but yeah, it is just a really deep brown. This Cellini has a diameter of 39mm, a case height of 13.3, and a lug-to-lug of 46.2mm. The lug width is 20mm, which puts this watch overall into a typical dress watch size category and should be good to go for everyone with wrists above the 160mm circumference and more. The only thing I would like to add is that you should still be looking out for the case thickness. I'm sure you already thought that when I mentioned the case thickness of 13.3mm, because that is rather chunky for a dress watch, so trying it on before buying is definitely recommended in case your wrists are more on the slender side like mine. But how does wearing it feel like? How does it sit on the wrist? Since this is still a rather compact watch case on a leather strap, it wears pretty comfortable. But should you already have some other Rolex watches in your collection, this one might feel a bit odd at first when wearing it, because this is just not your usual Rolex wearing experience. So it is definitely different than your, let's say, Datejust or Day-Date when putting it on, though all three are fancy Rolex watches. Might be a weird comparison, but the Cellini feels like a JLC and Rolex love child for some reason. It really feels like just nice on the wrist, but definitely not like your typical Rolex. Okay, let's continue with my point number 2, the overall quality, and more specifically how it compares to other well-established dress watchmaker brands like Patek Philippe or A. Lange & Söhne. I mean, Rolex is mostly known for their sports steel models, and even watches like the Datejust or Day-Date could, depending on their configuration, be considered more on the casual, sportier side, so they would more fall into the all-rounder category that work in most situations. So therefore, full-on dress watches are more of a niche for Rolex, so it's only normal that many would like to know if Rolex can keep up their quality when it comes to those kinds of watches. And to make it short, yes, they can. The dial is beautifully finished and offers some extremely nice highlights with those, gold hands and the hour markers, which, makes you really enjoy looking at your watch, which is very important, obviously. But yeah, the highlight here is the Moonphase, my all-time favorite complication when it comes to watches. And it is packed with details and a color that fits the entire rest of the dial. The case is a bit different than what you're used to with the Rolex cases, but you still immediately can clock this as a Rolex from afar. But not only the look is typical Rolex, it also feels like one when you hold it. Everything is smooth or sharp where it should be, and the leather strap feels high quality too, since you can feel that it is made up from multiple layers of leather and padding. And yeah, the clasp feels unsurprisingly good too. But still, this one has to make way for dress watch classics like the Calatrava from Patek or the 1815 by A. Lange & Söhne. They have considerably more experience when it comes to those kinds of dress watches, so yeah. I mean, you still see and feel that Rolex did an excellent job with their Cellini Moonface, but I guess at the end of the day, dress watches are just, not their main business. This Cellini does not have to hide, but it kind of lacks, kind of the cherry on top to be, the truly number one place here. And this leads me directly to point number 3, the popularity or maybe rather notoriety of the Rolex Cellini Moonface. Why is no one talking about this watch? It's actually rather simple and it might have already been obvious throughout this video. Let me list some Rolex models for you. We've got the Submariner, the GMT Master 2, Daytona, Day-Date, Datejust. I could go on forever, and I think that makes it very clear that Rolex is mostly known for other watch models, just not the Cellini. All of those watches mentioned already have a long history to look back on, and pretty much all of them are icons on their own. And on top of that, when you hear Rolex, you think of, sport steel and not, oh yeah, that famous dress watchmaker Rolex. So there are plenty of other watchmakers who are way more popular when it comes to dress watches, though there's nothing wrong with the Cellini in itself. It's just, as I said, very niche for Rolex. So let's see about point number 4. What about its availability and the overall pricing? Well, this watch has been discontinued at this year's Watches and Wonders and has been replaced by Rolex's brand new 1908 watch line. So technically, the Cellini Moonface is no longer available at ADs. But when looking at Chrono24, for example, you will find around 30-ish watches available right now. And when you set the filter to EU only, you're left with about 4, 5, or 6 of them. So there aren't that many Cellinis around, as you can see, but though some might think otherwise, this still hasn't made the Cellini super pricey, even though there are not many around. The offers I could find were, depending on the overall state of the watch, slightly go above or below retail, which for me here in Germany lands at around 26,500 euro or something. So technically that makes his watch rather solid in terms of value retention, but it's rather difficult to find someone who would actually, buy this watch at that price. So if you're looking for something to not burn money with, don't go for the Cellini and only add it to your collection if you can actually have that much money to spare. So what I really enjoy about the Cellini Moonface is the fact that all the different parts work together so well. One would think this is a given, but there are sometimes watches out that look like a very bad, mishmash of all kinds of ideas and designs. So yeah, there's this bright dial that matches the specific, tone of rose gold beautifully, the deep brown leather strap, which I'm also very happy about. I would absolutely have disliked it if there would be a black colored leather strap here, because, the contrast would be too harsh. And then there's my beloved Moonface that looks so dreamy with the perfect shade of blue, just adding the nicest highlight to the otherwise very, simple dial. So all in all, the Cellini Moonface really, works as a dress watch for me. But then there's the case thickness of 13.3mm, which makes it a tiny bit too chunky to be this fancy, slim and smart dress watch of our dreams. It also makes the push of the Moonface look a bit out of place. I think they should have spent a bit more time and thought designing this one. And on top of that, I'm still not fully convinced of the spirit this watch is trying to deliver. Technically this is a dress watch and it hits all the points that I like a dress watch to have, but I would still rather opt for a different watchmaker like JLC if I were looking for a dress watch. JLC or A. Lange & Söhne basically perfected the dress watch, so Rolex would not be the first or even second or third thought when it comes to that. But yeah, to be fair, this is not the watch's fault. And here we have it, the 4 most important features you need to be aware of before buying a Rolex Cellini Moonface. Now you know what to look out for, you know how a Cellini Moonface wears, how it compares to other dress watch giants like, Patek Philippe, why this watch is rather unknown and how it performs in terms of value and availability. You should now know whether or not this one will have a place in your collection. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, my channel right here, if you want to see more watch content like this. So I will see you in my next video. Bye!